Hello and welcome to Broadsword Wargaming. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Mantic Games City Ruins Terrain Crate. Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please do think about subscribing for more videos to come, because for this video, I'm taking a look at the Mantic Games Terrain Crate City Ruins. Now, I was given this stuff by the guys at Mantic Games. I did a little HQ tour a while ago with Luke from Luke's APS, and we had a little look around the place, and they gave me this stuff to go home with and try out. For those of you who follow the channel, I'm always trying to do terrain videos, whether it's MDF stuff, resin stuff, 3D printed, whatever it is, and from different companies. I get sent lots of bits and bobs for the board builds I tend to do. I'll be doing quite a few more board builds coming up, because for the battle reports, I always want different and interesting terrain. I thought I'd show you this from the start to the end, finished final product, and show you all the steps it's taken on the way. I was going to follow the box art, and kind of started doing that, but as it's gone on, it's sort of developed and taken its own way that it goes. I guess that's always going to happen when you do these kinds of things, but I'm really happy with how this came out. I got a lot of different chances to do different stuff. I've used more airbrushing on this one. I've done some sort of glowy lights, which I wouldn't normally do. And I hope you guys can enjoy the process and do this at home. So I'll catch you guys at the end once it's all done. So let's get going. This is the stuff they gave me. I think it's £99 new from those. One of my pet peeves that I've spent so long doing in so many videos is clipping out sprues. Whether that's the Games Workshop stuff, whether it's MDF stuff, this stuff already comes pre-clipped and I love that. It's got some really clever ways to put this together. It actually has these little joints. So every single square has 8 joints on it, 2 on each side. And you can join these whether it's vertically, horizontally. These just slot in to each other square next to the one you want, and you can make these either a corner piece or a straight piece. I wasn't sure how many clips I'd get, so how much I'd need, how strong these would be, so I just kind of went with it, and I started doing what was done on the box art, on the box cover. I quickly learned that I wasn't entirely sure how many pieces would go where, so I didn't glue anything initially. I actually just dry fitted it all. This took me a good 5 hours maybe to get the hang of it and shave off some odd bits. Most of the joins go together pretty well. Occasionally you'll get one that you have to sort of force through a bit more or maybe file a little bit down so you can get the join in. But overall, this process was quite good. I really wasn't sure how I'd put this together until it kind of came together on its own. I copied the box art as much as I could and ended up with quite a few spare pieces. So I thought, why not make some extra levels and make some different shapes and different sizes. I want this to fill a Killteam board, so I needed there to be enough to do that. I think I actually kind of ended up with an extra building out of it. Once this is all together, get it all down and get gluing. Just drop the glue into each join and do it on every single join to make sure it's quite strong. I tended to find I wanted to put a join on every place where possible, whether it's on the inside or the outside. But to keep it even, I tended to do all the joints in the same place. So on the outsides of the buildings and the tops of the floors. I quite like stuff to look symmetrical. This needs to be realistic, and it's a city. It was built by whoever, whenever, and they would have built these things to a plan, especially given that there's only so many different squares here. I kept all my walls, they all have a little V in them, and I kept all those going the same way, so I didn't have some up and some down. That way it all looked exactly the same throughout the entire board, and it really helps tie it together at the end. Once that's together, get some clippers to it. I don't actually show you this process, but you end up with lots of joins that look very clean. Sometimes you can have a straight edge to a broken edge. And if you imagine bombs going off and things destroying these buildings, there wouldn't be lots of clean edges where that's happened. So I've left some bits totally clean, but if there's a hole blown in something and a bit of wall missing, I'm not gonna have a straight side. So I just took my clippers to it and just broke off loads of it. This actually gave it a whole different look because I don't like the fact all of the edges are completely even in the way they're destroyed. I don't think that looks very natural. I've got that down and I'm really happy with how it's looking now. There's definitely enough here to fill a Killteam board and potentially a fair chunk of a 40k board. I don't know, I'd like another set maybe for that. Get some sprays out. Here, I always do some spray cans. You've seen me do this millions of times now, well, like 10 times. Get some black spray. This is just from the pound shop. I think it was like €1.50 a can. And just give it all a nice spray of black. So I'm gonna show you just one building despite the fact I've done a fair few others already. Then, once you've got the black sprays on, I got a really dark brown. I was going to go for a grey colour, but I always do grey terrain, and I thought, why not do something different for this one? So I kind of went a bit off the plan here and just got a couple of browns, some creams, and tried some things out. I wasn't very happy when I put a bony white on them. They looked too bright. So I ended up settling on getting a dark brown and spraying this on all the destroyed edges. It kind of looks a bit burnt, is what I wanted, like a burnt, exploded side. I didn't want it to look all even and clean. I put this just on the edges where the explosion happened. Obviously, you're gonna get a lot of overspray here and a lot of overspill onto the other bits. I went with an Army Painter bolt action brown color here. This is quite light, almost like a khaki. And I used this as my main color, trying to leave as much of the dark brown as I could on the edges, and just started filling it in. I ended up having to go back over the destroyed bits again with a dark brown, just to try and get a real clean burn edge. And I was quite happy with the result. This is how those look. I quite liked them with just this brown. I really wanted to make it pop a bit more. So I got my airbrush out. I wasn't going to do this, you don't need to do this. And I got a bone color here from Vallejo and just started to spray this on the flatter panels where it hadn't been blown up. And this allowed me to really even off those destroyed edges and separate it. It gave me a really sort of urban-y color. I really like this. It's kind of gone to sort of a deserty, bony brown, which wasn't the plan initially. After that, I got a black wash. This is a Nuln Oil from Games Workshop. Use any wash you like. And I sprayed this into the darker parts where it had already blown up, just to make them pop out a bit more and even off maybe where the spray cans had sort of given a dotty overspray, and just use this a couple of coats around all the destroyed bits, spraying it away from the cleaner cream. And the terrain for me now is really starting to come together. I wasn't sure whether to paint the iron bars a different color, like a red or something, but I didn't want to make them pop too much, because for me, terrain is there as an accompaniment to the models in the game, not as the focal point. To even it out a bit, got a sponge and some grey. This is just the base grey from Games Workshop, and sponge weathered over some of the cream. The grey makes it sort of dirties it up a bit more, but still gives it its main color. And this is quite a light way to do this, a technique you'll have seen loads of people do. Put it on your sponge and keep it quite dry and just lightly tap it around where you want it to be. I use this for handrails and the bits where people would walk, little walkways, corners of buildings, just to tie the holes in together and give it a bit more of a destroyed look. I did use this over the bits that were burnt out, the craters, the shell holes in the buildings, and I use this to paint some of those little rivets and the little bits of wire that are hanging out. On the box art is a green sort of OSL, like a glowing where the lights are and they glow and they disperse and discolor things just around them. I've never done this before and thought, I've got my airbrush out already, why not give it a go? Maybe this can sort of break up the terrain, but keep it sort of still uniformed and nice as well. So I thought, what color to go for? I could have gone for a blue, a green, any color really, but I thought, let's go for a red. Red's kind of like a warning, and this place would have been destroyed, so maybe the red was the last color, like a red alert was the last color on. So I just got some Vallejo, the red. I think I used the surface primer here, and put a little bit of some airbrush and very gently pulled the trigger back a tiny bit in circular motions on each of the little light strips that are on this terrain. And there ended up being a few more than I thought there would be, but actually looking at it, I quite like the effect. I got a lighter color for the middle as well, just to sort of make it a brighter, more vibrant red in the center as it disperses out to a slightly darker one. Dropped a little bit of white in, it gave it a tiny pink hue almost, but not really noticeably pink, just a little bit whiter. And that was about it for the terrain. How do you think it's come out? Because for me, I love this stuff. This might be the best terrain kit I have found yet. Well, there you have it. That's the terrain all done and dusted to the end. What do you think to that? Probably the best terrain I have had on this channel yet. I love the Games Workshop stuff. Don't get me wrong. I love the Mars board we did with Luke, but that took so long to clip out, a whole day just to clip it out. There wasn't any modularity to it really. I guess you could do some of the gantries a little bit differently, but they were quite expensive. This was £99 for this set, and I could do this however I wanted. I could put a second set on it and have a huge towering 4x4 Necromunda board, which I would love to do. So if you guys at Mantic want to send me something else, I'm more than happy to do that. I just think it's awesome. I like how destroyed it is. I think taking clipper stick yourself to sort of make it look even more jagged and a bit different is a good thing to do. This is good for Killteam 40k. Infinity, I think, was what this was made for. I've never played that, but judging by the terrain, I think I'd quite like to. Yeah, really happy with the way this came out as it developed. It was quite a natural process. I started wanting to do the box art, that sort of grey with some brown burny bits and some green lights. I ended up going a completely different colour and a whole different style, I feel. I'm really happy with the results. I'd never done the OSL stuff before. I have my airbrush here. So gave that a go. Don't be afraid to try these things out. I'm happy with that result. I'm happy with the colours. I just think it looks awesome, and I'm sure you guys can appreciate that it's not actually taking me that long to do this either. As far as it's taken to get this whole terrain set, you could do this in a day if you really sat and tried. Give yourself a couple of days, but you can have terrain that's easily done as this using like 5 colours and a couple of spray cans. What more can you want for 99 quid? If you guys have enjoyed this video, please do remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit the alarm bell for more videos to come. If you want to support the channel, check the links below. There's Patreon, PayPal, different places to buy your models. There's GEEK Gaming stuff for all your basing needs, and there's Amazon affiliates just for other bits and bobs that I've used throughout the channel. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in another video.